What's cracking, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. Today we're going to be continuing on with our prospect profile series, getting you ready for them rookie drafts by covering our prospect for the day. If that's something you're into, you like what you're seeing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that like button, help me out on that algorithm. But today we are talking about Rachaad White, running back from Arizona State. Dude started his collegiate career at Nebraska Kearney, redshirted there, then set it out to Mount San Antonio College. First season there, rushed for 392 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sophomore season, 2019, he blew up, rushed for over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, then transferred out to Arizona State. Junior season there in 2020, 420 yards, 5 touchdowns, but his senior season this year is where the magic happens. This is where the draft capital started to boom. Rushed for 1,006 yards, 15 touchdowns, caught 43 balls for 456 yards and 1 touchdown. The passing metrics lets us know that he can be used as a receiver out of the backfield at the NFL level. Had 3.38 yards after contact per attempt, forced 44 missed tackles, averaged 10.5 yards after the catch per reception. It's considered one of the better receiving backs in this draft class. This year's metrics kind of proves that. Going to the combine, had a decent showing there. He measured in a 6 foot, 214 pounds, ran a 4.48 40-yard dash. That adds up to 106.3 size-adjusted speed score, had a 38-inch vertical and a 10.5 broad jump, so good burst metrics, good enough 40 time, and good enough size. On tape, you're going to see a lot of good things. He's got good vision. He's a very patient runner. Good jump cut. Good receiving ability. Can maneuver through trash well. He does have some red flags. A little iffy in pass protection. Tight hips and could benefit from some better contact balance. My thoughts with him overall, I like him as a running back. I think he's a very good player. Been interested in him throughout the season this year. Been watching him, especially on that Pac-12 After Dark every night on Saturday nights. Been watching him. I think he's a very fluid runner. I think in the right opportunity, he can get the job done. But a lot of people are putting him in the first round of rookie drafts. They're paying up for him now. And when you listen to big drafts, I'm talking about guys like Lance Zierlein, Matt Williamson, other former scouts from their podcasts and stuff. And when they mention Rachaad White, they're mentioning a guy that is a decent to good backup that could fall in the actual NFL draft. And I'm talking about if this guy doesn't get draft capital, what we're expecting, what we're nailing in for him, we could be stunned with what we got with this prospect. Are we willing to pay up for him if he goes 6th round, 5th round, 4th round? 4th round I'm all right with, kind of, sort of, but there'll be other guys that I want more. First round draft capital, I don't know. This dude might pull a Keyshawn Vaughn on us if we're over expecting on this dude. 23 years old right now. You're talking about if he does not produce during his rookie season, you got a 24-year-old running back that you're speculating on, that you're hoping gets it together soon. And I get it. That's only 2 years in the league, and I'm fine with that on most players. I am. It really depends on cost. But think of it this way. If he's 24 years old, didn't do anything during his rookie season, and then you're going into a second season, his dynasty value on trade market is going to decrease a bit. People aren't going to speculate as much. People are going to look at the age next to his name, next to the ADP, next to the rankings on DOF, the rankings at Dynasty Nerds, and they're going to slowly drop him. He's got to produce during his rookie season. And if big drafts pegging him as a backup, and whether we agree with it or not, and it happens, and he starts off that way or starts off slow, that could be a drop. Like everybody else, we got to watch what happens to him at the NFL draft. He's a good running back. He's got some good things. You love what he does in the passing game. You love what he does in the open field. You like watching him run between the tackles. He does a lot of good stuff here on film. There are some question marks, but again, most running backs are going to have that. And he also hasn't had a full amount of time to develop at the top tier college level, so there's probably more potential for him to tap into. However, we got to wait for the NFL draft to see how the NFL evaluates him. I'm going to say this, he's a day 2 guy, bump him up a little bit. Past day 2, you may want to fade a little bit because he is an ambiguous asset right now. Everything's good. There's nothing that bad about his profile. He can catch the ball, decent size, decent athleticism, has good production at the back end of his career. There are some red flags, but we have to see what the NFL says about him. If he goes round 3, that makes him a little iffy. If he goes past round 3, it makes him really iffy. If he goes past round 4, he's dicey. A lot of people say maybe round 2, round 3, but he has a lot of fans in the fantasy football community. I'm actually a fan of him. I like him. I'm saying he's good, but I'm also being your big brother here and telling you to watch out. Watch for the NFL draft. Watch his draft capital and react from there, because there are people who are smarter than me, smarter than you, smarter than us, saying that he could fall in the draft. Let's listen to them. Let's just be observant. Let's be objective and see what happens. If he falls, then okay, we'll move on. If he gets drafted where we want him to get drafted, let's go wheels up. But right now, as a prospect, there's other guys that you may want anyways. Zamir White is a running back I'm interested. You may want some Justin Ross if he gets drafted with good draft capital to a good team. Let's see what happens with the draft. This is a decent profile here with some good fantasy specs, like the receiving ability, the burst, and all that. But let's not count our chickens before they're hatched. The draft's really going to matter, especially when you got Big Draft telling us that this guy might fall farther than expected. I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Every subscription matters, fuels me to keep putting out this content. It fuels me to keep helping you guys out with your fantasy teams, coming up with these videos and everything else. Again, I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.